You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us. So I see our blind item, we both logged in under different names today. How are you? No, seriously though, how are you guys doing down there?
We're doing okay. Honestly, I'm just worn out from the hurricane and the prep and the evacuation and the driving back and forth from the hotel to the property and the not having power and now the cleanup. I'm just really tired. And also I don't have any vacations planned, so like fuck my life. I don't have anything to look forward to right now except Equine Affair.
Well, you've been to Disney
work.
like how many times this year? You just got back from Disneyland.
But I don't have anything planned.
Oh.
So even if I had something in like January or March or something, I would have a goal. And I don't have any goals right now. I have no goals.
I'm actually going away next weekend.
Oh, because it's your birthday.
Yeah, by myself. No kids. No anybody. Just no friends.
God.
Me alone. By myself. It's going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait.
That is incredible. I had a day alone last month. Wow. It was so great.
So no,
whole ass day.
Kids back in school?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have at least that. And then how many hurricanes has it been for you so far this year?
2.
Okay. That's a lot for inland where you are.
Yes. 2 hurricanes which required evacuation and lost power and had tree damage. Yeah. 2. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
This time we had a lot less to lose when it came to our bulk freezer because we'd already thrown out so much. So
blessings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. It just wears you down. And I knew when we got a storm in August, my brain was like, "Well, you're getting a storm in September, so just be prepared." So I fully was prepared for a second hurricane.
I mean, that's good. I feel horrendous for the people in like Asheville and the Western North Carolina mountains. Like that is a hit they are not going to recover from easily.
Seriously, it's really messed up. And I feel like I have some sort of, I don't know how to say this exactly, but I get nervous in mountains, and I don't think it's entirely that I'm afraid of heights, which I am. I'm afraid of heights when I'm on a Stairmaster. I was watching a woman on a Stairmaster yesterday, and she didn't have her hands.
She wasn't holding the rails?
She wasn't, and I was freaked out for her. I was like, she's going to die on that Stairmaster. She's too high up. I can't use it. I have to stay on the elliptical. But I definitely feel like maybe in a past life, I had a bad experience living at in a mountain valley or something, because when I'm in them, I'm like, I'm in a bowl and I can't see a way out. And I got that feeling with the hurricane flooding. I just really was like, oh, this is that primordial fear that I have.
So it's funny because like the mountains feel like home to me, right? Ooh. So it's the complete opposite. But when I was planning my birthday trip, I said, where can I go safely as a solo female for the weekend, right? And I kid you not, I almost booked a trip to Asheville for next weekend. And then suddenly I was like, you know what? I don't know. Oh, Salem. And I ended up shifting last minute because I was like, oh, Salem in October. Like, why wouldn't I go? And I just pivoted. And now I'm like, thank you, intuition, because that would have been horrendous. Like, first of all, they don't want us there. They have recovery to do. But yeah, no, I mean, it's like a whole thing. But we haven't talked in ages. I miss your face.
Oh my God, it has been so long. I don't even know how long it's been. And
Too long.
Don't talk in between podcasts because, we would lose all of our best stuff.
That's true. We got to save it up.
Be like, oh, did we already talk about this? Yeah, privately. Well, that's no good.
No, it's better when it comes out real and direct.
Like we just get it all out there. So I've been, this morning I was reading some reviews of my book on Goodreads. So that was fun.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Oh my God. I wrote a Patreon blog post about it right before I jumped on here.
That's like torture though.
It was so funny though. It was so funny because like I went on, I don't know, I was in a destructive place this morning because like I'm PMSing. And I'm tired of PMSing. I don't have vacation. Yeah, hungover. There's so many things. And I went on to NetGalley because the first 4 books of the Eventing series that are being re-released, right, are on NetGalley, which is this website where like publishers put books for reviewers to download and hopefully create buzz about and hopefully not tear apart, right? So I've never had books on NetGalley before. I've always been afraid to even try it without the backing of a publisher. And so now the publisher did it, right? And so I go on and I have 3 really good reviews. I'm like, oh my God, good reviews for Ambition specifically. And one of them said, the review is posted at Goodreads. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and see.
Oh, God.
So
Goodreads is mean.
Goodreads is where writers' dreams go to die and be mangled. But I went because there's actually a really funny review on there that I'd seen like a few months ago where the person just said, there's no star rating and it's not really a review. It just says, this book has a higher rating than King Lear. God, I love the internet. And I'm like, yeah, I'd much rather read this book than King Lear, so I should hope it has a higher rating.
I mean, compared to Shakespeare, I mean, that's kind of epic.
Probably in a very derogatory manner, but I don't see the appeal of Shakespeare at all. That's just me. I don't understand Shakespeare at all.
Oh, yes. See, I used to read that for fun.
I don't get it.
And the Canterbury Tales.
I've read the Canterbury Tales and I totally dug it. And like I'll read Greek plays and I've read all kinds of crazy stuff. I read Shakespeare and I'm like, no, this makes no sense. I think I just hate plays.
Well, yeah, plays are
they're
a different vibe for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so I've looked at the new reviews and the good review from NetGalley was on there, and there were a couple other like new reviews of the arc that like the new version of the book a lot. And then there was one from May. So it would have been like before the new version at all. It would have been the old version. And this person was basically like, as a horsewoman, I am horrified by this main character. And she wrote all this stuff like about all the things that you should dislike about my main character. It's very important that as a human, you don't like these qualities and you hope that she will change. It's my sociopath test. And she was like, this would never happen. And I was like, oh,
but it did. But it did.
Oh, honey.
So
you
sad
don't think
for
any of these things would happen. Oh, honey.
I don't think they know.
Like, people what worry me.
I don't think they know that like we write from experience a lot of times.
Well, what it always makes me concerned when somebody says, oh, a horse trainer would never, say racist things or or lie to an owner or anything like that. It makes me really concerned. Either they have really rose-tinted glasses on or they're protesting too much.
It sounds like they're an equestrian Karen. What's that? We need to come up with like a Karen, but in the horse show world. Like, what is that? Like,
yeah, because it's hard with names because, like, I know a really great Karen. Hey, Karen, what's up? I bought my truck from Karen.
Right. Well, I always say Heathers were the initial Karens, like back forever. I mean, Heathers. That was it. The movie. It established us as assholes. I stand by that currently, by the way.
I think it should be either a really sort of, well, I'm going to get in trouble. No.
Do it.
Let's just say, can we use, forgive me, Ericas of the world, can we use Erica?
But Erica with a K. Erica with a K.
Okay, yeah, it feels a little Erica with a K. To be like, I've never seen such behavior.
This would never happen. In your fiction book, it's so not true.
If only. If only. I wish there was a world where this book was not based 100% on reality. But it is. Well, and the new version has like real sort of morals and consequences. And as a reviewer pointed out, thank you so much for reading the first version and the second version, much better sexual tension with Pete. Hello.
Ooh.
I know.
I love good sexual tension.
I think there's better sexual tension too. I'm pretty happy with it. So that's what I did this morning to sort of like just set myself up for success. I just feel really good about my writing.
I love that you came in. You're like, I'm going to talk to Heather today. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get good and pissed off reading these reviews, and then I'm going to talk to Heather.
I just woke up and I wrote in I try to write in my journal every morning, and this morning I was just like, I am angry. And I literally wrote, I am so sick of this. I am so
woke
mad
up
about
and
that.
chose violence.
Oh my God. Violence chose me.
Well, it's so funny because, everybody, and we need to do an episode. I know we've talked about it before, but I think we might actually need to do an episode where we have some of our author friends submit their most hilarious bad reviews, right?
Oh my God, we should so do that. Have we talked about that? We really need to do that.
I think we mentioned it, and I think, so the Horse Radio Network on Horses in the Morning, they do a really bad ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to do really bad reviews and just make fun at some of this stuff, because it is you're never going to please anybody, right? You're never,
mm-hmm.
but my favorite is this isn't realistic. It's a fiction book. Okay, thanks guys.
Mm-hmm. There's the alien gangbang I read a couple weeks ago, but I enjoyed the fiction.
Right. Sometimes you gotta set aside. Now I will say, so I haven't told the world some things yet, but maybe I should preface, but I don't want to make this all about me, but so I'm just going to we'll talk about that later, but I've been coming up with all these book ideas for a steamy series, a steamy book series, but not necessarily horse related.
Mm-hmm.
But so far 2 of the books are based on real life meet cutes in my life that I was like, you can't make this shit up.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot actually make this shit up.
And so now meet cute era.
I'm in my meet cute era, and I absolutely plan to have way more, maybe 1 a day when I'm in Salem. I need fodder for the books. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But so I will just round that up by saying, I'm not cheating on my husband. We're getting a divorce, and that's my big mic drop moment. The horse husband that never was is gone.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, it's super fun because we're living in the same house where we figure all the finances out and the lawyer agreements and everything like that. But I'm single, guys, and I'm not ready to mingle, but yet somehow people keep showing up in my vicinity. So I'm going to write about it.
There's an energy there. And it is unfortunate for the people showing up that they don't know the energy is I need material for romance novels.
Exactly. Excuse me, can I get you to sign a waiver?
Do you have any name preferences? Because I will be naming you.
You might look physically similar, but that's totally fine. No, and it's really funny because I was I had this in my mind. I think I'm very strong in my manifestation era because I had this in my mind that I was wanting to do a book show series for the dogs, right? Because I have all these dog clients I see, and I'm like, it'd be kind of fun to bring in the dog show world and show.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll do one where the woman's obviously a massage therapist, one where the woman's a vet or something, and she meets a dog handler, a canine handler, right, in the military or the police. Yeah. I met one of those. So clearly the books are writing themselves.
I was looking at animal fiction is a category on Amazon. I was looking at it yesterday, and the whole top 50 is canine handler romances and mysteries.
First of all, hot as fuck.
Is that what? Really?
Okay, I'm just telling you right now. I won't go into detail about that whole situation, but God, they're cute. Because there's a sense of, you like crazy dogs? Guess what? I'm also a crazy bitch. You know what I mean? You can handle a strong woman. I am a strong woman. Look at that, and do it in a non-predatory way. That is attractive. a man in uniform, that is attractive. So there's a lot to be said for that, for sure.
I think the only dog handlers I see are like the ones at like Disneyland security. Their dogs are there to sniff for drugs. And I mean, I'm like, come on, dude. Let people take drugs to Disneyland.
Depends on the kind of drugs, children and everything. So that would literally be the happiest place on earth, right? Can you imagine adult Disneyland?
I think it's just because they want to sell the booze.
They definitely make more money off of that, probably.
Yeah.
So more cost effective.
I think I would be the type that I would want to date the guy who's got the like emotional support collie at the airport with a sign that says "Come pet the dog." I'd be like, "Oh, you're so cuddly."
Oh, and I like your dog too.
Right. Just talk to him all day. Like, so you just hang out at the airport with your collie? Like, yes, it's a public service. God.
Well, and I found out at one of the dog shows I was at, there is a network, right, that was actually started in New Jersey of where they put all these service and therapy dogs together with their handlers, and they go from disaster zone to disaster zone as like therapeutic dogs, as post-traumatic stress dogs, and they're not qualified to do counseling, but they go and they just help the people come out of shock, and they travel, and I'm like, those people need a story, so I'm just, it's funny. I'm not necessarily moving away from horses. I've still got the Green Mountain series to finish. But I was like, oh, there's a lot of possibility here that just keeps writing itself.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It will when you get on that conveyor belt and the books just keep like thunk, thunk, thunk. And then you're Lucy trying to write the books. Like, no.
Well, that's it. And I'm finishing Welcome to Woodhaven now. I'm waiting for the final edits because I'm releasing that, this fall.
Right.
And it's going to be a special release for Equine Affair as long as I can get it shipped to me in time.
Oh my God.
So that's exciting because it'll be a month before everybody else gets it. And after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just, I don't know, focus on getting divorced and finding a new place to live before I work on a new book. And yet, the meet cutes keep coming.
I mean, it's important to get the book out because that's your income. So
it is
that. Well, you got, horses and stuff too, but they're also eating.
Yeah.
So
everybody needed the farrier this week. So, I'm hurting, but 3 horses and a farrier.
It's a time of change. Like, there is a lot of energy, and like we're both really reaching deep into that manifestation place and like trying to build this new kind of life for ourselves. And I definitely feel like the energy of the universe is just like kind of tempestuous, a little bit of a hurricane going on, and everything has to sort itself out on the other side.
Well, isn't that one of those things where like sometimes you got to do damage to the old to like make something new? Isn't that Mother Nature's kind of thing? Burn down the forests in order to create new growth.
That's exactly it. You can't just have new things. You have to get rid of the old things
and be prepared. Like, get ready yourself. I think. Listen, I was in a relationship for 21 years. That is ending. Like, that is that's an era. That is an era. It is a cycle that is, so yeah, no, I'm not looking to do anything crazy. I think I need to heal, and I'll work on my writing, and everyone will benefit.
Absolutely. That's the best way to do it, is to write through it. If you have the capability to write through something, it's something that's become apparent a lot online lately, is like, if you had a journal that you wrote in every day, maybe you wouldn't burn your career down on the internet once a week. You know what I mean?
Social suicide, all these people freaking out, and like it's pent up rage. So get that rage out in a healthy way, get those emotions out in a healthy way, and then maybe we wouldn't have so much hate out there, because it's really self-hatred.
It is. It 100% is. And that's what I feel like when I read some of these really negative reviews, not just of my work, but of anybody's work, is like, anytime you write something negative or feel something negative, you got to look in the mirror and be like, what part of me? Unless it's something that is literally written to be hateful. And then that's good. You should hate that. But again, that's not looking in the mirror part too, right?
Well, I always wonder what people are thinking when they write something so negative, right? So because, okay, I get that you didn't like it, that's fine. Is it something that's constructive that we can work on, right? Like were there errors, were there things like that? Or is it just like not your cup of tea? If so, move on. You don't need to hurt other people, right? So it's like hurt people, but also are any of them writing books? I'm confused because I haven't seen some of their names out there, so, you know.
Well, and when you get, I'm a firm believer that your reviews, if you are evoking a high emotional response with your books or any kind of work you're putting out in the world, you should have like 4 and 5-star reviews, and you should have 1-star reviews.
Right.
And the 1-star reviews you respond to in a very Captain Jack Sparrow, but you have heard of me.
Exactly.
There's nothing in between. There's no like, well, I read it and it was fine. Oh no, I either enlightened you or infuriated you.
Well, and at least you're evoking a reaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's exactly it.
Yeah, that's the thing. And all creative work is meant to be subjective. It's not for everybody, right? Like not everything is for everybody.
Like the chances are really good that we wrote it for ourselves to get over something, and not for you.
100%. I do not write for other people. Like I just remember at Horse World, you know, how many people come up to you and they're like, I think this would make a great story. And you're like, and you're so nice about it. And meanwhile, I'm like, I write for myself. And like, I'm, you know, if someone asks me, I'll laugh in their face because I'm just like, that would make a good story. You should write it.
I honestly do get emails with entire life stories. And
all of the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, I get the life stories and I get the pictures and stuff like that, but like, I don't think they're asking me to write them as a character. You know what I mean?
They want you to write. Yeah, I get that. This would make good. This would make good. But I do get people who are like, my story is crazier than any fiction book and you should write my story. And then like they write like 2,000 words of their life story in an email with no punctuation. I'm like, okay. Right. Okay. I do get a lot of unsolicited work. I kind of know how agents and editors feel when they say no unrepresented work, please, because I really do. I've had people send me entire manuscripts.
Have you really?
And literally somebody once sent me an entire manuscript and I wrote back like, I really don't have time to look at this. And they wrote back, oh, I want you to edit it. Just let me know how much it's going to cost. And I was like, I'm not an editor. That's literally not my job. And I have other, work. Like I have my own work that has to be done.
No. You revolve around them.
It was so weird. It was a guy.
But that's, oh, well, okay. I was going to say. The entitlement of the penis.
Need I say more? I mean, I felt
it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. And I read something, I think it was on TikTok, okay, because that's where I find all of my great stuff, you might make fun of romance book readers or authors, but that's the only place we can go to find regularly healthy men who will value us the way we deserve. And I was like, oh no doubt. Snap. Mm-hmm. Right? Because that is like, it felt like it called me out. Like it called me out and I was like, you know what? Nothing has been more true on TikTok. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that and Moon Dang. You know, I'm a fan. But
Moon Dang.
I feel like I'm channeling Moon Dang lately. Right? Like
just the screaming.
The good girl who, just wanted to keep the peace is gone. She's dead. And I'm gonna learn to say no, and I'm gonna be in my villain era, and I'm gonna channel my Mudang because I got the curves, I got the sass, and I like to bite also. Okay, so, like watch out.
You sound like a naughty Shetland pony, ma'am.
I mean, that's not an incorrect assumption. There's your boy. He said, I heard about attitude and I will be attending this conversation.
He has been a monster since the hurricane. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So much rage. He really proved how much he loves the air conditioning because he was pissed when the power was out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're a
villain too, right? He's like, he's leaving.
Well, what's funny is I'm not looking to hurt people's feelings, but I posted something on Instagram and TikTok the other day because, you go through a situation, life altering, and you realize like how many chances you gave somebody, and that it's not actually being a villain to stand up for yourself, but it's okay if that's how they perceive you because you can't really control how other people perceive you. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to embrace the villain. I'm going to do it because why not?
Yeah. I'm listening to you, and I'm also texting my husband to ask him to turn off the Roomba. Because I can hear it sunking into things in the living room, and he has the app.
That's okay. I can't even hear it, but
Please, I think it'll come down here. Please, can you pause the Roomba? Thanks. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yeah.
That's right. I'll have chatty dogs in here too. So like, listen,
The
you can't have a
animals are
conversation without having an animal interruption. That's just what we do.
No, I think that's fine. It's the Roomba is less necessary. Although,
yeah,
just a moment of praise for the Roomba and Florida sand. We really could not do it without you, Roomba.
Oh,
we would have so much
nice.
sand without you. The sand that I have lived with in my life, I can't even begin to describe to you.
And it
my
gets
old
everywhere.
Farm, oh my God! Before robot vacuums, it was like every day it was like sweeping up the beach. It was like sweeping a barn aisle in my home.
Yeah, the wind just brings it in.
And shoes and animals and clothes. It's in everything. So
that is true.
A moment for that. A moment
of for the Roomba.
Yeah.
I have some news to share with you.
Oh,
it's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because so one thing that not everybody knows about me, you might know this, Natalie, but not everybody does, is that I have a lot of ideas, okay? But sometimes my follow through, it sucks, right? Like I've got so much going on, then sometimes So remember I've mentioned during this IEA thing, the adult IEA, and putting this team together?
Yes, the Interscholastic Equestrian Association, but it's for adults.
Exactly.
Not scholastic.
Right. So I decided I was going to put this team together, right, for my barn, and we were going to do this. From someone who hates horse shows, okay? So like, right? And it seemed like a distant dream, And so here's where things get funny. So we already had our first show. I'm not signed up yet, okay? Because they had me do the safe sport. And as an adult, you have to do safe sport. And it is like an hour and a half course. But let's be honest, I have dogs, I have kids, I have a job. So like it takes me like 4 days at least.
Yeah.
And I'm never in front of my computer between that and finishing the book. So like I've been putting it off. So I was like, with the divorce and everything, maybe just not do IA this year. And then I said, no, I'm going to put on, because I've ridden maybe twice in the last like 6 months. Okay, just FYI. I said, no, Heather, you're going to do this. And today I completed my safe sport and I registered for IA. I fucking did it. Now I have to get on a horse.
Yeah, now you have to show you've gone too far. You've taken your efficiency too far.
But I did not want to let the team down that I put together. I didn't want to be that person.
That's hard. That's why I try really hard not to commit to things that involve other people. Because I do lose interest, lose energy, and drop out. Or I'm just like, I can't handle that. You know what I mean?
It's too much.
Just can't handle it. It is. And look at me. I was like, I'm going to show this winter. And then I just had a hurricane. And I didn't ride for a week. And my horse isn't fit. And it's October now. And it's just like, it's never coming together. So I just don't make commitments ever.
Well, one of the things that I'm learning through this whole process of what is this, consciously uncoupling, is you don't know what the future is going to bring. So maybe just like go with the flow. Like he's like, asking all these questions about timing and stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to force people to go faster. I'm going to do my thing and then we're going to see what happens. So like at least the IEA is something I can control. And of course the first show they want me to do is on my daughter's 16th birthday. I can't do that. We're hosting a birthday party for her. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm a really terrible person. But I think it's going to be funny because before February, I'm at least going to do one of these shows. And I'm sure I'm going to have loads to talk about that.
I think one is such a good like goal. Wow, it took me so long to come up with the word goal. Judas H. Priest.
Well, you're hungover, so.
I'm a hurricane hungover. You should have talked to me last weekend when I hadn't slept in several days. Went to a restaurant. Couldn't say the word mascarpone. gave up, tried, couldn't say it. I said, do you have that cheesecake thing? She said, no, we have this chocolate cake instead. I said, okay, I'll have the pie to go. The pie. She just told me it was cake. I had no words. I had no control over my mouth. It was insane. The cake was amazing.
The brain to mouth did not compute.
There was just it wasn't even, and I knew it wasn't connecting, and I was just like, this is what I have. I'm showering at the gym. This is what I've got for you. But one goal is good. If I could say to myself, I will volunteer one time this winter, hopefully more, but one time for sure.
Right.
I will go to one horse show this winter. I'd love to go to 4. Get some points. Ain't gonna happen. We all know that, but I'll go to 1. You know,
I think that's good.
Up.
And then you know what you do? I always say, like, for timid rider, right? Small steps. Just take small steps. You're gonna get there. At least you're going and doing something more. You're adding to something, like, right? So at least I could say, you know what? So today I completed Safe Sport and I sent in my registration for IA. That's a big step because I almost quit before I started. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think people understand, like, the level of praise I need, right?
You are the greatest. You are the best. I won't even touch. Some people have, you know, in the past they've been reading drafts of mine and they're like, well, you know, what if there was, you know, like not a sexual assault situation, but, you know, like an sort of a, you know, icky
like a harassment, right?
A harassment. Yeah. That's the word.
Yeah.
That's the word. And I'm like, no, because my books are really realistic and I would have to understand and deal with safe sport. And in my world, there is no safe sport because it is so complicated and I don't want to deal with it at all. So I just will not have any sexual aggression that might affect my characters. It's just, I know it happens, but I can't cope with safe sport. So look at you. You're so much braver than me because now you could use it.
I do feel brave.
Terribly boring to add it into a book.
Well, you know, it's not necessarily boring. Like, the whole concept of it is great because it's as an adult and as part of a team, right? Like a barn team, I might see things that I need to be aware of, right? And so I don't think most people know this, but like I have a history of domestic abuse in my family. So like my mother was abused. My mother abused me. You know, there's so like there's certain things, but like some of the smaller things, I was like, oh, I did not realize that. Because again, I grew up in the 80s, right? Where berating people and making them run an extra lap or whatever and singling them out was like, that was par for the course if you didn't complete. So like apparently now that's not allowed. So like there's like it's like very nuanced. And so yeah, I'm glad I took it because I really wasn't aware of just even the emotional stuff. So there doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional manipulation as well.
I think emotional manipulation remains really important to a lot of trainers.
Yes.
And it remains really important to a lot of plot lines.
Right. So I think you're writing about stuff that could be involved in Safe Sport without actually knowing. Right.
Well, I think that the reason why I don't want to put safe sport into my books is it's like one of those things where it's like attaching morals to pirates, right? Like if you attach a moral to a pirate story, the pirate is no longer want to have a romance with a pirate, right? Like now you're like, oh, well, now that we brought maritime law into it and I recognize So we don't want to bring too much regulation into a novel unless you're writing one of those like super pedantic government influenced novels that has
and also keep in mind you want the evergreen content because some of these regulations do change, right? Like Safe Sport didn't exist 10 years ago. So if you're writing about Safe Sport now, what is that going to look like in 15 years? Do you have to rewrite it? Or is this just a resemblance of the time, right?
Boy, are you preaching to the choir on I know. Things changing, eventing, please stop.
So yeah, so I get it.
Books are time stamped at this point, so I don't have to like justify any changes in the future. I had to add modified in. I had to add starter level in.
Come on, United States Eventing Association, man up!
I had to take out French link bits, like nuance. 5-star and 4-star were willy-nilly. That was all over the place.
Oh my
Books
God.
are 10 years old. So, yeah.
I know. It can be hard. Being an author is hard. We have so many expectations to get everything right.
Well, now they're copywritten this year. They are living documents. They are historical records. They can't be updated. It's tough, guys. Respect your local horse book author. We're losing our minds.
We're absolutely losing our minds. It's happening. It's current. We're all crazy. We're all struggling.
Well, let's talk for a minute about Equine Affair, because we are super close to that. It is middle of November, beginning of November almost, really. So we're like a month away. I am super ready. I'm ready, like mentally. I'm like, hell yeah, but physically, I'm like, I probably need to like make some stuff to take along.
I just ordered all of my books except for Welcome to Woodhaven. I just ordered replacements for all of my stock so I can bring it, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, that's good.
And so now, of course, all I'm doing is panicking about Welcome to Woodhaven, because I got to, finish formatting it and all that, and hope that I get the shipment on time.
You're always trying to finish a book before an event. Like, it never fails.
Always. Mm-hmm. Well, and I use the events as a goal, right? So like, that's because otherwise I procrastinate.
You need to use a month before the events as a goal.
I did.
Oh no.
Actually. And then Jason and I got, the divorce process, and I was a month late doing everything. Yeah. So if I didn't have that little wiggle room, I would have not been able to release it as planned.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, that just shook everything like up, and it was like, hey, let's fuck up your life and do a whole bunch of different stuff. But it's going to be for the better. It's going to be for the better. And so, which is that bad to say? I'm like really excited about being divorced. Is that bad?
I won't go into detail, but no.
But I am excited about Equine Affair, and what I'm not excited about, I'll just tell you. So I'm speaking. I'm doing speaking.
Right.
Well, I don't know when. Like, they haven't given me a time slot. I don't even remember what the topic we submitted was. And I spoke to Sydney Collier, who's my co-author for Beyond Expectations, and really, like, she's going to be the primary. Let's just say what it is. And so we're going to be both on stage, and I want to do it in kind of like a conversational fashion, right? But I don't like to prepare. I like to really do things like ad hoc and just have kind of ideas of what I want to bring up and topics. Sid is a planner. So she sent me this entire speech.
Oh, no.
And I don't do speeches, okay? Yeah. And also, she didn't write my part of the speech. So I was like, how about we break down what you want to say, but then we make it more conversational, so there are like topics, like like just like headlines. So again, I don't really remember what the topic is, so I got to go home and back in my email and figure that out. But we're going to have fun, because I'm going to be straight off of my little Salem sesh. I'm going to have loads of stories. I'm going to be feeling cute.
Oh my God, you're going to have so much witchy energy.
I'm so much witchy. And I'm thinking about, if I can getting a little like flash tattoo when I'm up there to like remember my little birthday weekend in Salem.
That's a cool idea. Maybe like a new moon or something, like a little something, just something small. A waxing crescent. Yeah.
Yes. That'd be nice. And then I'm thinking of I got a ball gown. I'm going to the Samhain ball.
Oh my goodness!
I'm going with the cast of the original Hocus Pocus.
What? The movie?
Yes.
The cast?
So it's not the witches, unfortunately. I don't think the pay grade was high enough for that.
With Bette Midler.
I mean, but it's gonna be the two kids, the voice of Binks, and then the two bullies. They're all gonna be there. And then they're going to do like a separate day. They're doing a movie where they'd like, kind of talk about behind the scenes stuff. And so I'm invited to all that stuff. So I'm really excited, but I have to wear a dress, you guys. So I'm going to embrace my fall little witchy vibes, and I'm going to just only pack dresses for nighttime. And I'm going to wear leggings and jeans during the day, and dresses every night. And I'm going to practice being, not in scrubs. I might need to retrain heels. I don't know.
That is so interesting. I actually bought a dress last week.
Wait, no. What?
I did. So the day after the hurricane, we were staying in a hotel. The hotel had no power. No one had any power. And we drove down a couple exits to find some food. And we went into this restaurant and we're standing in line. And we were still in line for about 10 minutes. And then the clerk leans over the counter and he says, just so you all know, we're not serving any food. Didn't want you to wait in line. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And we'd all been waiting for like a really long time. So it wasn't like, he didn't say we've run out of food, or
it's like
he just said, we're just not serving food. I'm like, okay. So we went outside and it was hot. And I was like, shit. And so Corey says, let's go in here and just get some air conditioning and think. And we go into a J. Crew.
Oh, that is
been in a J. Crew.
No, but it has got that preppy vibe that like I can totally see you wearing.
So I bought a dress, I bought a blazer, and I'm gonna wear the blazer at least to the Equine Affair, and it was all on clearance, which makes my little heart happy.
I love that.
And it was a dress that I stared at myself in the dress for like 5 minutes trying to decide, like, it was just a style I had never bought before, and it was like, you can't wear this dress, and it was like, wait, you can wear this dress, you just haven't bought clothes in 10 years. There's a difference.
And you've been working out and you've been, you know what I mean? Like, and you've got this book tour that I'm sure you're working on. So like, yes, buy the fucking dress.
I did. Bought the fucking
dress. Good for you. Can't wait to see it on you.
We're going to be in our dressy witchy era.
Exactly. But you'll be like a little preppy one. And I'll be a little dark Stevie Nicks vibe.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe my style when I actually get dressed is dark Stevie Nicks.
That is 100% what I would say about you. I have thought in so many words about you.
Yeah, maybe I should get that tattooed somewhere on me, like a picture of Stevie Nicks.
Dark Stevie Nicks.
Dark Stevie Nicks. But maybe that's how to just channel that energy. You're right. Like she's the white witch. I could be dark witch. Just channel that energy for like my villain era, right?
I'm just a little book witch.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll all little librarian witch.
That's right.
Under my toadstool.
That would be so cute. How about little like open book with like a little witch's hat on top of it? That would be a cute little flash tattoo.
Yeah.
That would be so adorable.
It would be.
I just have to see. I mean, I'm sure they're booked out. It's a week out and it's October in Salem, but I'll just call a couple places, see what they got.
Yeah.
You never know.
Tattoo.
I know.
A permanent souvenir. Kind of like a baby.
Yeah, except my tattoos don't talk back. I had so Cameron is turning 16. She's getting her driver's permit. And I arranged for one of my friends to pick her up a couple days a week so I can work longer hours, with the divorce coming up and everything. And my friend texted me randomly, like on a day she didn't have Cameron, and she goes, "Oh my God, she is just like you." And I was like, I know, she's an icon.
That's amazing.
And I was like, she can hang. Like, that's the thing. Like, Cameron is very mad at me for going away for my birthday without her because she wants to go. But I was like, no. You got to be 18. Like, like let's call a spade a spade. I'm still your mom. Yeah, like I'm still your mom. Okay. I'm still your mom. So, but yeah, no, kids are cool, but tattoos last forever. And kids grow up and leave the house.
Man, do they ever. But then they keep coming back. And you're like, wow, you are still loud all night. Glad you're here, but
enjoy it now because, as he gets older and gets married, you might see him less. Or maybe you see him more because he moves into your basement. I don't know. Well, not your basement because you don't have one.
If the family compound plan comes to pass, there'll be a house here for him if he wants it.
But at least he'll have his own space.
Yeah, we can't have basements, so that's not really an issue here.
Yeah, not with the limestone. I always forget those things.
We'd just fall straight into the aquifer if we tried to dig a basement. I would be like, oh, I live in an underwater cave now. Hooray!
The hell no. There you are.
Now I know where you go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know. Kids are great, but Anyway, I'm glad everything worked out with the hurricane for you, and you're on the other side of things.
Yep, for now. And I hope that anybody who is affected by it, who is listening to this, has everything they need, because I know what it's like. I've been through a few. I know what it's like to not have what you need. It's rough.
It is rough, and
it's scary.
We went through Sandy, but that's not.
Your hair just gets whiter and whiter, and then you just have to
hear?
dress your hair over your ears so nobody.
So
can
we do have some listeners that live in Appalachia, and they have. I know Lucy has mules, and so they've been focusing on the mule teams, bringing people the medical supplies and the food and water supplies that they need, which I just think is the most phenomenal thing. And I just want to publicly say, how grateful I am that there's these people who do this, because there's no way cars can access these areas.
Yeah, the people who keep the old traditions alive are always the people you fall back on in a major disaster. That's just when machines can't do the job anymore because they don't have their supplies, or in this case, they can't climb over a fallen tree like a mule can. Then you got to fall back on the old wisdom. That's why those traditions are so important to keep alive.
It's really, really true. And, the backcountry horsemen of America and all that, I mean, they keep up to date and they mark those trails every year and they clear them. And I think a lot of people don't realize all the work they do all the time. So it's nice they're getting the recognition right now for everything.
And maybe some much
lives.
needed publicity to, fund them and get more people joining them and things like that. Because it's not something, honestly, if it weren't for Lucy in our Facebook group talking about packing out mules and things like that, I would not know people are doing that in the Appalachians. And yes, I say Appalachians because I'm from Maryland and that's how we say it. So I don't want to hear about
it. That's okay.
I happen to be from the Appalachians. Shocking to all of you, but it is true.
That's all right.
I am, in fact, originally a mountain woman.
Yeah, our Vermont cabin it's between the Taconics and the Appalachians, so the Green Mountains, which is part of the Appalachian Trail.
I am from the Catoctin Mountains.
Exactly. So, hey, listen, it runs the eastern seaboard, and
it goes to Scotland.
Yeah,
the Appalachians are incredible. They go to
Scotland.
Scotland.
That is pretty cool.
They're in the Isle of Skye. There's matching rocks.
That's amazing.
The Earth is amazing, you guys.
The Earth is an amazing place, but I think sometimes she does like to humble us, and remind us of who is in charge, and it's not us. You know,
get out there, watch the patterns, learn for yourself. I really believe that's important.
Yeah,
get to know your Earth.
If they tell you to evacuate, do it. If they tell you to evacuate, don't try to stay, especially if you have animals. Do what you can.
These people on the some of these people on the coast that were like, well, it never flooded this high before. And I'm like, yeah, that's why they said repeatedly, don't compare this to other storms in your past.
Well, I mean, listen, in Sandy, it was a 100-year storm for us in New Jersey. And we got rammed. I mean, up the butthole. And they didn't even buy us dinner first. We knew it was coming. We had no idea how bad it would be, though, and the other side of things.
That's still the scariest hurricane I've ever been in. That was terrifying.
It was terrifying. My kids were really small. We were very lucky, but I still ended up having to pick them up and drive them south with my dog because we couldn't live in our house for 10 days. I mean, we didn't know and so, the hurricanes, you can avoid them, right? They tell you when they're coming. So take advantage, because tornadoes, they don't, you don't have as much notice.
Yeah. I mean, for Florida specifically, this hurricane was predicted at least 10 days out, was when the models were in agreement that there was going to be a hurricane and it was going to come in either in the Panhandle or the Northwest coast, from Tampa north. 10 days. Wow. And it developed in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? There would have been, if this was 100 years ago, everyone on the coast would be dead. Everyone. Dead. It would be like the Great Galveston Storm or the hurricane of 1928. Oh, wow, the barometer's dropping really fast. Oh, wall of water. And then, you're warm.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
You're swimming with the fishes with the pirates, Jack Sparrow.
Exactly.
So. Yeah. No, it's
Models are amazing.
Well, what is funny is our egos are our own problems, right?
Yeah.
And I say this with someone who's got an ego that I'm trying to, Anyway. Like if someone who is an authority figure tells you it is going to be a problem, trust it. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? You go visit a friend for a weekend a little bit farther north or west or whatever. So anyway, but yeah, I'm really glad for the mule team. So it's been nice to see all the coverage for that. So
yeah. And if I can offer any advice to people who have horses and they're afraid to evacuate or they don't know what to do with their horses or whatever, if your horses have a clear area where they can hang out away from tree limbs, they will go there. I have a clear area. I'm mostly under trees, 90% under trees. I have one clear area that's like maybe 30 meters wide. And they go there. I've watched them during the worst of a storm. They go there and stand with their tails to the wind and they wait it out and they're fine. No tree limbs are over in that area. Tree limbs don't fly through the air unless the winds are over 100 miles per hour. That's actually kind of a rule of thumb. Things don't go airborne unless the wind goes over 100 miles an hour. So, and that's unless you're on the coast, you're probably not going to get wind that high. So, trust your horses to take care of themselves and make sure that when you come back, you have water and food for them. And then take your infirm, terribly designed human body and put it somewhere safe because you can't stand out there and wait it out.
We don't have the instincts they do. Yeah, no.
You will die.
Yeah, we're not as strong as horses. As much as we make fun of them for a lot of things, right? They're infinitely better at withstanding these things than we are.
Yeah, people say a lot like, well, I can't leave my animals. I can't leave my... You can leave your animals because they're animals. And they have 100% better chance of getting through a storm outdoors than you do. You have no chance.
And there's, there's things you can do, right? You can write with marker or paint on their bodies with your phone number. You can write, they have the short halters with the short leads that with emergency numbers and reflective tape. Like there's so much you can do to prep for an emergency like that. You just need to do your research and the horses usually come back. Like they come home, and if they end up in someone's yard, you get a phone call. The phone number will be on the halter.
Luggage tags. Yeah, both my horses get luggage tags in their manes, and they last a few days before they rub them out. And I attach them with baling twine so that if it was caught on something, it would break. And I have lots of photos of them. It's very clear whose horses they are. And if they did go down the road, somebody would be like, "Whose horses are these?"
And they call the place, and the place.
Those are mine. Yeah,
exactly.
So, just, have water is the most important thing. I have a blue barrel from Tractor Supply, like a food grade barrel. It was like $100. And Corey put a spout into it so that you can open it. It's not hard to do. There's YouTube instructions. Basically, there's a drill a hole and, stick a spout into it. Done. And I fill it. Do you know, the first morning we were home without power, I got up and I was like, there's coffee. I always make the coffee. Every day since we moved here, I'm the one that makes the coffee. I go out and there's coffee. And I'm like, oh my God. Corey's like, yeah, I make coffee. I'm like, great. So I'm drinking the coffee. And then the next day he's like, yeah, when I went out to the barrel to get water out of the barrel, I was like, wait, the coffee was made with barrel water? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. Like, if
you got
water
your coffee
comes out of a tap, we can't make coffee. Natalie has to do. If the water comes out of a survival barrel,
Corey. Listen, he did it. Let's just acknowledge that he stepped up and gave you coffee, and he did it in the manliest way possible. Okay. You share the water with the animals. I love it.
We did have to tap into that water to water the horses as well. So it's really important to have backup water if your well runs on electric. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's hurricane tips with Natalie.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we should probably wrap it up. But I mean, maybe on that note, we don't do adulting wins, and we just kind of leave with everybody with like thoughts of a safe recovery, and hopefully they get back to what they're doing. To normal life, whatever that means soon.
I think that's fair. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, we're thinking of you guys. So, we'll continue to share things that we see that might be of help or like GoFundMes and things like that. But good luck, everybody.
We love you.
Yeah, what she said.